Hey guys, welcome to Drawing with Abby. Back in 2020, I did a review for the drawing app Artflow. It's been a few years since that review, and I think now's a good time to take another look at this drawing app. Now, when it comes to reviewing this app, I want to look at 4 major categories, and that includes the drawing experience, drawing tools, interface, and editing tools. Once we break down those categories, I'll share my final thoughts. So, let's get at it. Starting off with the drawing experience, I have to say Artflow nails the fundamentals. The app is pretty lightweight, so if you're running it on an older device, you won't notice any major dips in performance. Drawing on Artflow is fast with very little lag, sudden crashes, or any major hiccups. The app does support pressure sensitivity if your device allows for it. So, if you have an S Pen on like a Samsung device or another device that uses a Wacom-enabled pen, you'll be good. I do have to say the pressure sensitivity is not amazing on the app. It's decent, but I've had better experiences with pressure sensitivity on the same device on other apps like Infinite Painter or Clip Studio. It's just that I've noticed that I don't get as light of a brush stroke compared to those other apps. This is only a problem if you're a light sketcher like me, but for inking or painting, it's a total non-issue. The brush selection is solid. Artflow comes out of the box with a decent amount of useful brushes, and even more so if you decide to upgrade to the paid version, which is a one-time fee of $5.99. Thank you, Artflow, for making it a one-time fee instead of a BS subscription fee like the other guys. You know who you are. Brushes are organized into 7 categories: inking, pencils, paint brushes, airbrushes, pattern, texture brushes, and custom brushes. Each category comes with at least 10 brushes, and it's a pretty good variety to choose from. What is nice is that you can adjust the attributes of each brush, including the pressure curve. However, I'm a little disappointed the inking brushes do not have a smoothing or stabilization feature for silkier, smoother lines. More on that later. Another downside, Artflow does not support importing brushes, so that collection of Photoshop or Clip Studio brushes you've been stockpiling, they don't have a home here. Instead, you'll have to rely on creating a custom brush from scratch. The brush creator is okay. It allows you to import brush shapes from your library and edit those attributes like you can for other brushes. It's just not as robust as you would like it to be. For example, you can't adjust things like how the brushes are going to mix with elements on the canvas. And that brings me to the painting experience on this app. The paint brushes are decent, including some nice watercolor brushes. Where the app falls short is the blending tools. It's essentially a smudge tool, which means the colors aren't really blended all that well. Again, you'll have to use a workaround. In this case, it's experimenting with different brushes with the smudge tool until you have an effect that looks right. For me personally, I'm relying on the watercolor brushes to achieve a softer blend. This is a category I did not have in my original 2020 review because back then, there really wasn't much to talk about. Happily, that's changed. The app comes armed with the basics of what you would want from a drawing app. It's got a flip canvas option, which if you've seen any of my drawing videos, you'll know is super important to me. It also has symmetry tools for quickly creating portraits, logos, or abstract pieces. The shape tools are solid, and I love the fact that it separates the circle tool from the ellipse tool. I hate using that same tool in Clip Studio Paint when all I'm trying to do is to create a nice circle. Nice touch, AF. Yeah, for both. We'll work on the nickname. Guide tools can have a tremendous impact on your artwork as it speeds up your process and saves you some frustrations. Artflow offers 4 guide types: line, oval, focal, and smooth. Alright, remember when I talked about the lack of smoothing in the inking brushes? Well, let me rant about the smooth guide for just a second. The smooth guide is not a guide. It literally smooths out your line in real time. You know where this would be helpful, guys? Yeah, the inking tools. Think about it. Anyway, all of these guides are useful. The focal guide is what I think is supposed to be the perspective guide, but it's actually kind of odd at how you use it. For instance, it's basically only a 1-point perspective guide. You have to kind of cheat it by moving the focal point around on your canvas once you've got the lines you needed for that particular vanishing point. You can get by with it, but it would have been so much better if they added 2 or 3-point perspective options to this guide. Artflow's UI is both awesome and terrible at the same time. The app does a really good job of trying to declutter the interface and get out of your way as much as possible. It keeps the most commonly used options and tools easily accessible and hides the options away until you actually need them. It really does feel like the app was built for a phone-first experience. It includes nice touches like letting you pin the menu so it stays in place, or you can just let it disappear until you need it again. If you have a modifier in your brush like guides or shapes, there's a small icon that pops up to let you know that's what's going on. The app allows you to choose what sort of color wheel you prefer, and sampling colors is a quick and easy process. The downside of the interface is the fact that you just don't know what you're missing. There are often additional options available for the tools in the app that are revealed with a long press. The problem is that there's no visual indicator to let you know that those options are available, which is a shame because those additional options make the app much more versatile and deeper than what you initially assume it to be. It would be nice if the icons had different colors or stroke outlines to let you know that there's a hidden window available. There are a few editing tool options in Artflow. For starters, the selection tools are pretty robust. You have all the tools you would expect like rectangle, ellipses, lasso, and magic wand. You can even toggle options like adding to your selection, subtracting, or inverting. Once selected, you can apply transformations or edit selected area. If I were to add anything here, is that it would be nice if the app can include some quick selection tools like color range or subject selection. Layer management is easy peasy, and you have a bunch of tools here like transforming or applying layer effects like adjusting the color or adding in halftone textures. What's odd is that you can only make those color adjustments to the layer itself, but not to the canvas overall. It's an oddity that forces you to use another app to apply final edits to your illustration once you're finished drawing. The transform tool is pretty standard, allowing you to resize and rotate selections on your canvas. You can even apply some skewing transformations too, which is useful for reworking proportions or perspectives. You can crop and resize your illustrations at any time and export your drawing in both JPEG and PNG formats. A nice touch is that you can export your drawing into PSD format. So if you want to finish off your illustration in another app that supports PSD, you can. All in all, pretty standard editing tools, but nothing unique or special. Just solid. So, how does Artflow stack up after considering the categories we just ran through? To be honest, despite spending a lot of time drawing in this app, Artflow is not the best drawing app available. You have big boys like Procreate or Clip Studio Paint that have impressive features built around a stellar drawing experience. That's just not the case with Artflow. With Artflow, you have standard tools on top of a decent but not amazing drawing experience. However, Artflow really does shine when you consider two things: price and performance. The Pro version of Artflow is available at $5.99, but it's a one-time fee, versus Clip Studio Paint or Adobe software requires a monthly subscription. It's more fair to compare it to Infinite Painter, which has a one-time fee of $9.99. And don't worry, I'll be posting a head-to-head comparison of those two apps pretty soon. And the app is pretty lightweight, which is something to consider when you're trying out different drawing apps. If you're using an older device, or if you run a lot of things on your device, you may want to consider an app like Artflow that doesn't demand too much from your system. Is Artflow a good app for you? It really comes down to what you're using the app for. If you're looking for an app to create professional artwork, yeah, this ain't it. While you can create some pretty professional looking results, other apps let you get those same results with tools that make the process easier and faster. However, if you're an enthusiast that's just looking to create a few illustrations, maybe some fan art, then Artflow is a solid choice that you'd be pretty happy with. So, those were my thoughts on Artflow. What do you guys think? Was there anything that I missed? Do you have your own thoughts on the app? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Tap that sub button if you want to see more. Until next time, keep drawing.